Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Big Blue News Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Beasmore, and of course, we've got the co-host with me, Nolan Fleming. How have you been doing, man?
Good. Went to the game Saturday. You sure this mic sounds good, by the way?
Oh, yes, the mic sounds great, bro, and it's going to be
All
a
right,
great
new mic.
podcast.
Last time we had new mic, it did not go well, and we had to do like 4 takes, and it was really, really painful.
I do
For
remember that, but no, your mic sounds fine. You sound crystal clear to me, and you will sound crystal clear to the audience for sure.
That's good. But no, doing well. Glad this Monday is ending, but it's a Monday.
Yeah, it is a Monday. I am glad to be over COVID-19 last week. I had it. I was fully cleared by the football game, so I was able to go to it. Sadly, didn't get a chance to meet up with Nolan yet, though. We have to figure out when we're going to meet up, man.
We can maybe this Saturday. I think I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens. But today we're going to just mainly talk about the hospitalization of Liam Coen, and then also Kentucky football. We'll be talking about the EKU game, and maybe we'll talk about the preview for the Akron game. That might be for a different podcast episode, but we'll wait and see what happens. First, though, we need to talk about Liam Coen. Yesterday, UK released a statement saying he was hospitalized around noon yesterday and everything seems fine. Mark Stoops also said in his press conference, even though he did not mention Liam Cohen by name, uh, he said basically the prognosis went fine and everybody who's supposed to be on staff will be returning, basically. So he never mentioned Liam Cohen today by name, and I was surprised by that actually.
And I'm gonna guess that applies to Liam.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to dive too far into it because I think if they don't want it out there publicly, that's their right. And yeah, I think I'm going to try to respect that. But I hope everything is okay for Coach Cohen. He's a great guy, very nice man. And I think, I'm glad that nothing's too serious seems to be going on. I mean, hospitalization is never good,
Yeah.
but I'm glad he's okay enough to go home next day.
Yeah, and obviously as of 3 p.m. I saw a tweet from Lindsay Go, and she said that she talked to the UK PR team, and she said at this time that Liam Cohen was still in the hospital, but he was in good condition. So as of right now, we know that he's still in the hospital, but by the time hopefully this podcast is uploaded, he'll be released and he'll be fully healthy because, like I said yesterday, UK tweeted out that statement that he would probably be released from the hospital today. And as like I said, as of 3 p.m., UK said he's still in the hospital but in good condition. So that's at least a
That's
good
the
thing.
only part that matters to me, and I think matters to a lot of people is that he is in good condition, and
Yeah.
we don't want anything to happen to anybody or anything like that. And but as far as like I said, as far as the overall things are go, I know people would like to know, but
Hmm.
that's his right. Uh,
Yeah.
if that's the way he wants it, then that's the way it needs to be, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And if he wants to talk about when he is able to return back to duty to the media, he can. Obviously, he doesn't have to. It's his personal space, personal rights,
Right.
HIPAA and everything. But
Getting
but
political here now with HIPAA.
oh yeah, good old HIPAA. But yeah, no, I'm happy that he's in good condition though. Hopefully he'll be released from the hospital soon. Obviously, if he isn't coaching this Saturday against Akron, nobody will be upset because of course
No,
he has to get back to being fully healthy with whatever actually happened to him.
no, it's just a game. It's just a game.
Yeah,
I think we lose sight of that sometimes.
it's just a game at the end of the day. It's definitely more important life over, games or anything. I mean,
I
DeMar
agree.
Hamlin, DeMar Hamlin last year, Bengals Bills game got postponed or got really canceled because of what happened with DeMar Hamlin, and everybody realized that, it's bigger than a game.
Yeah, and I think that's been a positive thing after the Damar Hamlin thing
Hmm.
is that I think there's been a lot more groundedness in the game, and not just of football but of basketball. I think people realize it's you know you shouldn't live and die by a football game. But anyway, on the more positive things, Kentucky did win this weekend.
Kentucky did win this weekend, but
It did
holy,
not look like they were going to for about 30 minutes,
it
but
was a slow start, and then UK finally got the lead in that third quarter in the second half. It took forever. It took forever to get UK to be on the scoreboard. I mean, they finally scored in the final minute of that first half. If it wasn't for Barry Brown's deep punt return, UK probably wouldn't have scored in that first half. And if
there's
they
no
did,
way.
if they
I thought when he did it, I thought he was gonna run that one back. There was a hole he could have taken
yeah,
on that back that probably people watching on TV didn't see.
it
But like you said, I don't think they just if it didn't for that.
Yeah, if Barry Brown doesn't return that to inside the 25 or 20-yard line, I think it was inside UK or EKU's 25. I don't think they would
Yeah.
have scored. And if they did score, it would have only been a field goal. But I'm glad that he was able to get the ball inside the 25, led to a score, led to a tie game, obviously going into halftime, and then eventually UK pulled away. And who would have thought that Ray Davis would probably be the best player on the offensive side of the ball so far? Obviously, I knew he
Yeah,
was going to be good from Vandy, but I thought maybe Devin Leary was going to be that guy. He's going to be the best player on the offense, and he hasn't been the best player on the offense. It's been UK's running back Ray Davis so far.
yeah, I think he has. I think when he got the ball, it meant you were going to get a good chunk of yards,
Mhm.
which was something that really felt far and few in that first half. That first half was awful. I don't think. I'm glad we won. A win
Yeah,
is a win, and I'm going to take it as that. But I do want to stress just how terrible that first half is. It's just one game. I'm not going to like change my entire outlook on the season because of it. And I don't think people should because
Mhm.
things people get the team will get better.
Yeah,
Unless it's like last year where the team just gets progressively worse.
yeah.
But the team will probably get better. And the first half was just really, really dreadful to watch. It was awful. I don't understand why we were playing so slow.
Hmm.
I swear it was the slowest offense I've ever seen.
Yeah, it felt
It was.
so slow.
I wondered for a second if Eddie Graham was actually still the offensive coordinator or Rich
Yeah,
Gango. We were playing the old Stoops way, play not to lose, don't play to win, sort of
yeah,
ground thing, which is a terrible, terrible offense to watch. It's so boring, and I want to be entertained. I want to spread the field out, and they did that in the second half.
yeah. And also, I mean, the other key change in college football is time continues to run after you get a first down, except inside the final 2 minutes of the first half and the fourth quarter, obviously. So, obviously, the offense, if you're not running plays quickly after you get a first down, that time is still going. And you've seen probably fewer teams having fewer possessions of the ball during the game. I mean, first quarter, I think EKU and UK both had the ball twice. So they had the ball probably four times in that first quarter, and you're used to more possessions during a football game, I think, with
I agree, and it's really I think it's an annoying rule. I don't see what the problem was. The
the
NCAA has a tendency to just take what isn't broken, break it, and then fix it.
well, dude, the games were lasting too long. Obviously, I don't blame it on that. I blame it on
I didn't hate it though.
commercials and obviously the NCAA wanting to get paid from commercials, so they put in so many commercials, and it would just annoy me because I'm like, games are lasting too long because of these commercials.
The media timeouts are more annoying than that. Like when you're watching in person, there's nothing more. It's people act like it's not annoying when you're watching at the stadium. I think it's just as annoying, if not more, because
Yeah,
they stop play for 2.5 minutes and you see that freaking clock that the one ref is holding.
yeah,
So annoying. It's
yeah,
like, what's the point? Like, why are we? I don't know. It's just that's just me.
yeah.
But
I completely agree with you on that. I mean, TV commercials, it's way too much media timeouts. I get what you're saying, but
it's a
that's I
company.
think
It's a business.
yeah, I think that's the only reason why the NCAA really made that rule change because games were lasting too long. They
I
were
think
lasting like closer to like 4 hours instead of like three.
yeah, and yeah, I agree. But we should still not play so slow. We should still pick it up. And
Yeah.
I do worry that it was because Stoops was not wanting to embarrass Walt Wells
Hmm.
because obviously he coached here or was on staff here.
Yeah.
and the Roy Kidd stuff.
Yeah.
But and I really wish that that's not what we did.
Mhm.
We didn't do that in the second half. I think in the second half we took control of the game.
Yeah, we did take control of the game. Obviously, with that, Kentucky also moved down in the AP poll. They weren't ranked, I know, going into the season, but they also did move down. I'm about to pull it up. I think they fell 2 spots. They were ranked. Yeah. So right now they are ranked number 32 in the AP poll. Last week they were ranked number 30, so they fell down 2 spots in the AP poll, and I just want to be ranked. Obviously, I don't think that will happen unless we beat Florida, and who
Yeah,
knows if Florida will be good this year. I mean, they did win this past week, but then they also got blown out by Utah, and Graham
yeah.
did not show out at all in his first game.
I think they're going to be a team that just is going to take a little bit of time. I think by the time they play Kentucky, though, I think it's going to be a hard game.
Yeah, I miss having Florida at the very beginning of the year, like the first 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't know why we didn't do that. We never do that when we play them at home.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, because usually if UK can play Florida the first 2 or 3 weeks of the year, usually Kentucky is a better team at the beginning of the year compared to like Florida towards the middle or end of the year for sure, in my opinion.
Right, I agree, and I think they're not going to be ranked for that Florida game. They might be. I think if they blow out Akron and then win convincingly against Vanderbilt, they might be.
Yeah, they
And
might.
also the teams in front of them have to lose.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out, people keep talking about the season's over and all that. The Will Levis 9-3 team didn't lose. They beat Chattanooga, but only beat them by like 5.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to note that that team went on to beat Florida at home and LSU at home, won the Citrus Bowl against a really good Iowa team that was ranked like number 2 that year. Like, the season's not over. All is not lost. We did win the game, by the way, just in case people need to know that.
Yeah, and I did look it up. UK only did beat Chattanooga by 5. It was 28-23.
Yep.
If it wasn't for like Tyrell Asian's like interception at the end of that game, that pick six, UK could have potentially lost that game for sure. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
no, UK did win though this past week against EKU, and we just
And
need
we've been
to.
played close by EKU before. Every time we've played them under Stoops. Now we have been played close by them. As
Yeah,
close.
and I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense to me, but obviously UK won 28-17, and I'm hoping that after the second half performance that Devin Leary had, I'm hoping he can play like that for a full game because
He
he's
needs to.
played he's played a lot better in the second half compared to the first half in the first 2 games of this past year.
If Leary continued to play in the Eastern game, if he had continued to play the same way he did the first half, Kentucky would lose that game.
Yeah.
If you replay that game and he plays that same way that he did in the first half and the second half, Kentucky does not win.
I agree.
He had to step up, and he did, to his credit. But also, he's going to have to be better in the first half.
Yeah.
There's no other way to really put it. I think he's great. I think he's a good talent. He's going to have to show that in the first half.
Yeah.
I still think he's settling in. I mean, like, I'm not. People are writing him off. I'm not lost on him.
Yeah, and I think if he can show a full game performance, I think UK could easily beat not EKU, Akron by like 40 points on Saturday. They should be able to beat Akron by 40 on Saturday.
They really need to blow out Akron. I think.
Yeah.
And by blowout I mean like 20 or more. I don't necessarily mean 40. They need to beat them by a lot.
I mean, the point spread for the EKU game was UK was a 35-point favorite. So
yeah,
whoever
I would if I took the under on that would have been. I'd be very happy right now.
Yeah, I would have been very happy too. Whoever set those odds in Vegas, though, they're getting fired for sure.
But they lost. That's a team that you can't blame them. You can't blame Vegas for that. They got beat by like 60 by Cincinnati last week.
Yeah, you're not.
I think it was very much reasonable to sell them that way because Kentucky is supposed to be a lot better than Cincy. this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I don't know if they should be a lot better compared to Cincy. I think Cincy could probably
Yeah.
beat UK. I don't know. That would be
I
a
think
different
Kentucky's
story for
better
a
than
different day.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati lost a lot of dudes
Mhm.
last year when Satterfield got in there and
Went to Louisville.
went to Wisconsin.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens though, but UK, I think they need to win by 30 or more on Saturday. Obviously, we don't know if Liam Coen will be calling the plays. More than likely, I would guess if he's not calling the plays, I would say possibly Vince Merrill potentially calling the play.
Maybe, but I also think wide receivers coach.
Yeah,
I know they like to share duties whenever they don't have a coordinator. Like, who was the offensive coordinator in the bowl game?
I'm pretty sure it was Vince Merrill, man.
I think it was Vince and the wide receivers coach. So
Yeah,
I'm going to assume that they would do that, but I really hope that they spread it out
yeah.
if they do.
I think UK, I think Devin Leary is still learning everything with shotgun.
And he is coming off of an injury.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
readjusting.
Yeah, the pec injury he suffered at the end of the year.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens though with UK. I think they still have a chance to go 8-4, but they just have to play a full game instead of playing a second half because if UK if they played like they did in the second half for a full game, there's no question that they could have easily beat EKU by 30 points or so.
I agree.
Mhm.
And
And
we have to
another
point out real quick what that commentator said on ESPN Plus about Ray
Ray
Davis.
Davis. Yeah. I still can't believe he said that. Obviously, I don't think he had any
I
ill.
don't think he did either. I think he meant well.
Yeah. But for people who don't know what he said exactly, basically, the commentator, the announcer, he basically said 9 months ago, everybody wanted Ray Davis, but whenever he was a young kid in like the foster care, nobody wanted him,
Yeah,
basically.
9 months ago, I think it was exactly 9 months ago when Ray Davis entered the transfer portal, everyone wanted him. And 11 years ago when he was in the foster system, nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
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 I
That.
don't want to like bash him or anything because I'm like you. I think he didn't mean anything. I don't think he meant anything by it.
Yeah. I
And
don't think.
I don't think he meant to like destroy anything or make any like joke or anything. I think he meant well. I think he meant to point out the story because it is a cool story. A guy coming out of foster system, being as successful as he is.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, better wording, man.
And his father, I know, tweeted at either like SEC Network or ESPN saying like, "I want an apology immediately," and I don't know if they have apologized yet to Ray Davis's
So,
father. I hope they did. I'm
do
about to
too.
pull up the tweet right now. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it whenever like I heard about it after the game because obviously I was at the game, so I
That's
couldn't.
yeah, me too. I just think some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah, but yeah, that's interesting though. I'm glad though. His father is taking it okay. Obviously, he wants an apology. I'm still trying to find the tweet. Maybe I can't find it, but I do remember seeing a tweet from Ray Davis's father asking for an apology. And right now, I can't seem to find it, but I do remember.
And either he follows me on Twitter, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I do remember seeing it. He may have deleted the tweet already, but yeah, no, that was a crazy thing for the announcer to say. But let's talk about one other player on the offensive side that I really want to talk about. It is Tavion Robinson. He showed out in that second half as well.
That was really nice to see from him. Because I think he's important this year because he's a really good player. We know that, but he had a very hard time last year at the end
Yeah,
of the year. And if he could keep that up, I mean, that was a crazy stat line he had. You can't just do that every game.
yeah, of
He
course
could
not.
just do something like even a shadow of that. I think the offense will be much better for it.
Yeah, I mean, Tavion Robinson obviously did not flourish last year in the Rich Scangarello offense.
Mhm.
A lot of wide receivers didn't flourish, or the quarterback, Will Levis, he didn't flourish last year under that offense. And obviously, his offense last year, Rich, was wide receiver flip screens, the whole game.
Yeah, we were still doing that yesterday. There was one play call. It ended up working out, but I remember me and people in my section were kind of like, "What are you doing?" Because we ran a swing pass in our own end zone.
Yeah. There was
Which I did not understand.
there was also one play that I tweeted out uh on my Twitter, obviously now X. So uh shall I even say tweet? What is it? X? I don't
I
even
don't
know.
even. I just call it Twitter. I don't know. I don't even care. Like, why did we change it anyway? Why is Elon so obsessed with stuff like that?
Yeah, but to get to the point, there was one thing I tweeted on X was the play call whenever they flip basically the ball around. It was last year whenever we were playing against South Carolina, the very first play call, they called that it led to a fumble, and they called that towards EKU's, end zone where we're about to score, and it gave me PTSD to that play last year. And luckily it worked out for UK. They got a first down, and it was a big run, I believe.
Yeah, it was, but it was one of those. If it worked, you would have liked it. But
I mean, it could have worked last year, but obviously the very first
so
play
bad.
was,
That ball should not have ever been thrown or ever been flicked. I mean, it
yeah.
was.
Yeah, it was a weird play call to definitely start out, especially with a new quarterback in the system last year.
Mhm.
At the time, because Will Levis was obviously injured against South Carolina that game.
Right, and a guy that I think needs to improve after yesterday was Dan Key.
Mhm.
He had a rough game.
I like how you keep saying yesterday when the game is on Saturday, bro.
Well, whatever.
It's all good. It's a Monday. We're all
It's
tired.
Monday. Football happens all weekend. It's
Yeah,
either
Monday
way.
night football tonight. Bills, Jets. Excited for that game.
Yeah, that'd be a good game. Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. But anyway, Dan
Yeah.
Key had some throws that he's going to have to catch if he wants to play in the NFL.
I agree.
Uh,
And
he,
yeah, a lot of the
he
wide
he had
receivers,
hands of stone on Saturday. I almost said it again. He had hands of stone on Saturday. He couldn't catch anything.
yeah, the first half wide receivers couldn't catch anything, and then Devin Leary kept overthrowing wide receivers too. I'm like,
Yeah,
you've got to make some of these catches though if you're a wide receiver because they're
if you're gonna play on Sunday, you have to.
yeah, yeah, you're not.
Leary also threw into coverage a lot, which I
Mhm,
didn't understand. That was weird.
yeah.
He'd have a guy like he'd have like EKU just riding somebody's back,
Mhm.
just riding a receiver's back. He'd throw it towards that receiver, and uh, whether it's PI on some of them, I don't know, and whether a receiver should catch that, I don't know.
Yeah, there were some plays though he made. I remember one time a defender was coming at him from his backside,
Hmm.
and I don't know how he did not get sacked, but he got away from
I
that
did.
guy.
I remember that one. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a good play.
yeah, I'm like, how did he not get sacked there? I don't know if it led to a completion or not, but luckily he didn't get sacked on that play. But
I don't
somehow,
think it did. I think he ended up. I think the pass ended up going incomplete.
probably, but hey, it's better than a sack. Obviously,
Yeah, a
though,
lot better.
yeah.
Which he should not have taken on a 4th and 9, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. But obviously, the only way, I mean, it was going to be either a turnover on downs either way because he could have thrown it, obviously incomplete.
I
So
agree, but he lost like 10 yards on that. You got to throw it away and keep them. It was like it was like at their
third,
30, 35. And
yeah,
they got the ball on their 45 after that.
yeah.
You got to throw it away.
Yep, I agree with that. Obviously, that's the one thing that has like disturbed me over the years is quarterbacks not throwing the ball away at UK. I'm like, you just
I
got to throw it away. You can't afford a sack. Obviously, I know they're still young. They're 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds, trying to make these plays. And obviously, I couldn't do any better if I
I
was
can't.
quarterback.
I'll be honest. I play flag football. That's it.
Play flag football. Yeah. Hey, I was there in middle intramural chance back in my day during college, bro,
Yeah, working on that currently.
for flag football.
But I agree. They got to be smarter. Our quarterbacks have a tendency to just make some boneheaded decisions, and that was a boneheaded decision.
Mhm.
The interception, I think, is a little misleading, by the way, on his stat line.
Yeah,
It was, but like, was it? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It was one. flukiest interceptions I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was an interception, and it was a very weird way to get an interception. I'm like, how does that even happen, you know? But
Yeah,
obviously, Devin Leary, he really performed very well in that second half, and
yeah.
hopefully UK can continue to do that. He played actually better than my Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow this
Oh,
past
boy.
weekend.
Hey, Desmond Ritter didn't throw for 82 yards.
Yeah, man,
Desmond
gosh.
Ritter threw for like 115, but still, that watching the Atlanta Falcons offense was brutal.
I bet, bro. But yeah, there's one other thing I want to talk about before we end the podcast. I want to also talk about Tennessee. Man, they looked awful as well this past week. And maybe UK will actually have a shot this year at Kroger Field to beat Tennessee. But Tennessee, they looked awful in that first half. They improved obviously in that second half, but yeah, Tennessee did not
Right.
look like last year's Tennessee's team at all.
Yeah, I agree. I just think the SEC's down. My Alabama Crimson Tide broke my heart on Saturday, but yeah, that sucked too. I just think the SEC is down, except for Georgia. They're going to destroy everybody. They just look like they're going to just kill everyone they play because they're really, really good again. Carson Beck is probably better than Stetson Bennett.
You
And that
think so?
defense is still dominant. Oh yeah, he's absolutely better than Stetson Bennett. This dude was like a high 4-star, low 5-star guy.
Yeah.
Like, and Brock Bowers just
Brock Powers
yeah,
is Brock Powers.
Brock Bowers. I just the SEC West is wide open. Anybody can win that.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
SEC East
yeah.
is not.
Yeah, all the SEC teams are struggling right now. UK has struggled, even though they're 2-0. Tennessee has struggled. Florida 1-1. LSU, they obviously lost their first game of
They
the
got
year
they
to
got pounded by Florida State.
yeah, 1-1. Alabama lost obviously to
Lost bad to Texas.
Texas. Yeah. And I thought that game was going to be close with the way it was high scoring in that like third quarter.
It was for the most part, but it got away from them there at the
Yeah,
end.
at the end. But
Milrow is not going to be their quarterback. He doesn't need to be at least.
you don't think so?
No, but you know what? I'm on a UK podcast right now. I'll talk about that to my friends.
Yeah, on the what podcast were you?
Amateur sports scholars?
Yeah, gotta you gotta get that promotion in, bro. Gotta
Yeah, I do.
promote your podcast. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I got some big things happening with that right now
oh
that I'll
really?
talk about later.
Oh, I can't wait to like hear about it. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what Kentucky can do this upcoming year. I think the SEC is wide open. Obviously, UK they have to take that next step though if they want to go to the SEC championship game. They have to be able to beat some of the very well known teams in the SEC with Tennessee and Georgia for sure. If they can win those two games, there's no question that they should be able to go to the SEC championship game. But
Yeah,
obviously,
I think Alabama's beatable now. I'm
yeah.
not saying Alabama, but I think Alabama is beatable. I think it can happen. I think it's possible. I didn't think it was possible, but I think it's possible.
Hey, I've been saying the whole time.
No, do not say it. Do not say it. If they hear you say it, they're going to destroy Kentucky. It will
We
be.
want Bama.
Oh, you don't. Yeah, it's over. You know how much fun that would be? I'd love to rush the field. But anyway,
I would love to rush to the field, but yeah, we want Bama, everybody.
don't.
Yeah.
Unless if it was Bryce Young, Alabama, you definitely don't want them.
Oh yeah.
Or Mac Jones, that whole those old
Hey,
teams.
Mac Jones and the Pats almost came back with the Eagles this past weekend
He
too.
looked, yeah, he looked good. I
In the
thought
second half. Yeah, I agree.
that offense is going to do him a lot better. He's gonna actually be able to take look like he did his rookie year, look as good as he did then.
Yeah, but I think overall UK, if they can play like they did in the second half, I think UK could have a good season and potentially
Mm-hmm.
do better than 8-4. And hopefully, I'm hoping UK will do better than 8-4. I would love that.
I
Obviously,
think
no,
we'll be fine. Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
yeah, obviously Nolan and I both predicted 8-4 this upcoming year. But if they can beat Tennessee, South Carolina, or Mississippi State, that's easily 9 wins right there.
Yep. You just gotta, you just gotta pull it off, though. I guess. we'll just see what happens. It's really going to be a we'll just see what happens thing. But that's all I've got.
Yeah, that's all I have for today's podcast. We will have another podcast later this week to preview Akron, and I think we all agree that UK is going to be Akron for sure. But we'll do a score
Now they're going to
prediction.
need to.
Yeah, we'll do a score prediction and all that in another podcast later this week. But I appreciate you all watching. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we appreciate the viewership, and hopefully this podcast can continue to grow and we can get some more guests on this episode.
Yeah, I agree. Monetization, baby.
Yeah, we gotta get sponsorships and oh shoot, my mic went down
Uh,
on me. But yeah, hopefully we'll get sponsorships and hopefully more things will come. Nolan and I, we've got some ideas planned for the future. Obviously nothing has happened yet, but we're working on some things behind the scenes, and like I said, we're going to try to continue to grow this podcast and make it better each and every episode for sure.
yeah, I've got nothing. That's it for me. Stay sober, go big blue, have fun, don't have too much fun. I don't know.
Yeah. And then also there's been no Big C update that I know of yet. So
I'm worried about that, but we'll
yeah,
get
so
in.
am I. But obviously we'll talk more about that in a different podcast episode once we learn more info. If we learn anything. But obviously that's all we have for today's podcast. Thank you
Yeah,
all.
last thing, free Big Z. That's all.
Yeah, hashtag free Big Z for sure. But thank you all for watching or listening, and we'll have another podcast episode for sure later this week. And this is Chris Beasmore signing out.
See you.